I'm Rajeev Sangal, Director IIIT Hyderabad. I'll share with you my experience of implementing human values at IIIT Hyderabad. I feel that it has had very remarkable influences on the institution as a whole, on the students, on the teachers and relationship between teachers and students, and on general administration and discipline. Today, the students who come in are under tremendous pressure, which we can generally term as peer pressure. It is the pressure of the family, pressure of the relatives and pressure of society, which is constantly telling them that one should work quickly, one should get into jobs, get into high paying jobs, and the meaning of life is judged purely in terms of the salary package that they get at the end of their graduation. So what happens is that they are distracted from their studies. Studies is only a means to get something, and that brings about a change in their attitude. Now, this is not the only kind of peer pressure. There is also a peer pressure from friends, from other students in other colleges, which is also telling them that they should wear certain kind of clothes, they should wear certain kinds of shoes. Not only kind of shoes, the shoes should have a brand label of a certain kind. Now all this generates a lot of pressure on the student to behave in a certain way, to live in a certain way, and this, you can imagine that if this is there all the time on somebody's mind, it generates a load. So one of the first things that we noticed, and that's also one of the first things we addressed when we introduced human values as a part of academic curriculum at IIIT Hyderabad, one of the first things we noticed was that students started becoming more comfortable. They did not have to prove themselves to anybody. They only had to behave in a natural way. And this was a change. This brought about many other changes as well in their relationships with other students, in living in hostels, in their relationship with faculty, etc. We also noticed that things like ragging have reached almost zero levels, and this has happened over the last 4 to 5 years, ever since the human values courses were introduced as part of the academic curriculum. If you look at cultural events, then what kind of culture gets promoted? The cultural programs should have depth, they should reflect reality as well as enjoyment and a sense of celebration. And we noticed that these aspects were getting lost in trying to organize extravaganzas in which the main goal is to show somebody else how great one is, how great one dresses, how well one acts. And what happened, there was a subtle change as we introduced the human values courses. We noticed that the cultural programs on their own underwent a change. The depth came in, the cultural programs, let us say dramas, skits, they became more concerned with relationships, with society as a whole. Students started bringing in disadvantaged sections of society and get them to perform. This was completely a very welcome step, but it came as a complete surprise. So this sort of set in motion an atmosphere which is more comfortable, which is more natural, in which one is not trying to show another, but one is trying to achieve one's excellence. And this, if we talk to teachers, then the teachers say that many students have become more serious towards studies, and they are more serious towards projects which they do in courses. As you know, IIIT Hyderabad is a research university, so courses have a lot of projects and term papers, and even the undergraduates actually do research. So in this environment of freedom and naturalness or sahajta, it is natural that then people try to strive for excellence. And in that striving, they undertake projects and term papers in which they will excel, in which they will learn something new, in which their creativity would be exercised. So it not only affects the behavior with others, it also brings about a change within themselves, whether they now try to reach excellence. And this relates to their studies as well as what they wish to do later on in life. Quite a few students started thinking about what they want from a job. Unfortunately, most students, even after graduation, do not understand what does it mean to say that you have a good job. Most of them think that good job only means the one which pays higher package. On the other hand, a good job is one which allows your creativity to flower, which allows you freedom, which has good relationships at workplace, and certainly it also provides you a decent living. But we should understand that it is the wholesomeness of a job, and why only a job? It is the wholesomeness of life which is important. It is the wholesomeness of life in which we interact with our family, in which we also interact with our colleagues in work or in the job. All this must go together. It must go with a wholesomeness, and that, I think, becomes possible once people start thinking about larger issues of life, what is their role in society, how they can themselves be more comfortable, and in turn become more comfortable with their family, with colleagues and outside. So it's a wholesome change that comes over. In fact, in the administration, in institution, the issue of discipline or self-discipline is extremely important in my view. So the goal of education is to take a person from discipline to self-discipline, and I think that goal can be achieved by introducing human values in the programs, such that students realize what is their responsibility and what is their goal. So once the goal gets fixed, the students have a direction. Unfortunately today, most students do not have a direction. They have been told that their goal in life is to get a job which pays them well. I think that's a very low level goal. It is something that can be achieved rather trivially if one understands the larger purpose of life and larger relationship in life. And I think this, when the wholesome picture comes through the human values program at our place, then students realize that they should be thinking, they get connected with larger issues, and then discipline just turns out to be something which is natural, and one can start moving from discipline to self-discipline, which in some sense is a major goal of education. It also allows the students to explore themselves, to find out what is their talent, what they are good at, what kind of work they enjoy, and then they can explore this in their academic work, in their curriculum, and act accordingly. So therefore, even though IIIT Hyderabad is an engineering institution, all our engineering undergraduate students have to go through a number of humanities and social science courses. So they get to see not just IT, but other areas of engineering, but also humanities and social science. And I think humanities and social science sort of relates to oneself, to what is within. And in this way it brings about a larger picture of life. So it allows and empowers the students to choose what they would like to do in life. We have examples, quite a few examples of people who, having done engineering, have switched over to humanities. There are quite a few students who, having done engineering, have shifted to sciences, and they are pursuing higher studies in those areas. There are also people who have, after engineering, have sought different kind of job, not because they were paying well, but because they felt this is where they will feel more fulfilled. This is where they will have a more wholesome life and something that they want to do. So I think the goal of Human Values program is to allow people to explore within and connect their inside with the external world, with their family, with their jobs, with their colleagues, and also with nature. So another change that has come through, students have become a lot more conscious about wastage, particularly of electricity and water, namely the natural resources, and how these can be avoided. And I think in that sense, they are becoming a more complete human being. And I think that is the goal of education, to allow everybody to become a complete human being, where the person recognizes his or her talents, he or she is able to take decisions in life that are important, and then act with courage on those decisions. In summary, when we started the Human Values program about 6 years ago at IIIT Hyderabad, we did not, we thought that it's a very long-term program which will yield results in 10 to 15 years. And we were very surprised when the results started coming within a couple of years. And the environment of the institution started changing. And over a period of 4 to 5 years, the environment has undergone a major change. There is more harmony. We may differ in views sometimes, we may differ in decisions that are taken. However, we do not feel a sense of opposition. So we may differ, but we all understand that we are all trying to work for a common cause, which is actually the good of all. And I think with that atmosphere, we can move further ahead and make the students more comfortable, teachers better related with students, and administration having dealing things not through punishment but through relationships. So I'm very enthused with the results we have had, and I'm sure we will have some new things happening in the institution, such that the institution will rise higher. Thank you.